This video is brought to you by the Ridge Wallet. More on them later. Congratulations for watching this video early! Here at RabbidLuigi Industries, we value your continued loyalty and dedication to our products, and we would like to congratulate you for pre-ordering this video by giving you this keyring and early access to all our other videos been coming up soon. And also, what else can I find around? Oh, hello. This model of a rabbit, it's like a statue. Someone please take it away. Do people still pre-order video games anymore? I know I don't pre-order games anywhere near as often as I used to, because these days I put more stock into review scores and have to pick and choose the games I play because YouTube has my free time in an ever-tightening vice grip. Although if the last video was anything to go by, if people still care about box art, then they're probably gonna set aside some money ahead of time for an upcoming game and potentially look forward to some kind of exciting pre-order bonus. Or not, as it turns out, because where there's a chance for developers and publishers to take the piss, there will always be some that relish the opportunity to offer something astronomically stupid as a pre-order bonus. If you have no knowledge of where this is going, you're in for a treat today, my friend. Pre-order bonuses are all about getting handy little deals that don't feel like a waste of time, and that's good because this video is sponsored by Ridge and their very stylish front pocket wallet that can easily replace your tired old leather wallet which fits in your back pocket, and this can give your cards a very sturdy place to call home, especially if home needs to be resistant from chainsaw attacks, because apparently the Ridge wallet can survive that for some reason. Given how advanced we're making all of our things these days, it's a bit strange how little wallet-making technology has progressed over the years. We've got phones that can do crazy things, but wallets are still leather and heavy and too big for our pockets. Luckily, Ridge is here to help out with their sturdy wallets that can hold up to 12 cards with extra room for cash, and with more than 30 colours and styles to choose from, you're very likely to find something that suits your tastes. Plus, Ridge were kind enough to send me one of their waterproof commuter backpacks with a shock-resistant laptop holder and an external USB port for on-the-go charging. Honestly, once I start going on public transport again, I'm definitely using this as much as possible. Ridge comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can buy one wallet for the rest of your life if you like, with a 45-day return window for a free refund if you're not such a fan. Get 10% off today with free worldwide shipping and returns by going to ridge.com/RabbidLuigi and using the code RabbidLuigi. It's time to move your wallet into the future. Right, let's talk about shitty freebies. Spoilers in case you're wondering, but all those fancy bonuses for pre-ordering video games, they don't matter. Sorry if that's ruined your day, but that's kind of what I do for a living. Or at least they shouldn't matter, because often the bonuses are so good that they deserve to be something that the average player should experience. Those kinds of rewards are hard to slot into this video, since they're technically inviting incentives to put your money down early, but it's a cheap trick to drive up pre-orders by offering something quintessential to enjoying the video game. From that perspective, Sonic Lost World offering something as pointless as 25 extra lives for buying the game early through Amazon isn't all that bad, since it's the tiniest little thank you for having so much faith in the latest game from a franchise that has bounced around in quality like a jacked up pinball, and the fact that it's nothing major means that the impetus is put back onto securing a copy of Sonic Lost World above all else. Isn't that what pre-orders are for? To reserve a copy of an upcoming game just in case retailers sell out because everyone just can't wait to play the new Sonic game? I don't need the extra lives. Or do I? It's a cliche to ask this, but what truly makes a bad pre-order bonus? Would you rather have a bad reward or no reward at all? Because if I was excited enough to pre-order Sonic Lost World, and trust me, I really wasn't, surely the act of doing that is enough to get me excited for the game, and I don't need any extra help with that. Can the lives be a disappointment if they hold the same value as roughly none at all? Yeah, sure, that'll be fun to talk about. Reminds me of that time when Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire came with a pre-order bonus of 200 potions to use in-game. A welcome reward to be sure, but definitely one that isn't quite as useful as you think. Same deal with the extra lives in Sonic Lost World. It's not offensive or a drain on some of the more important content in the game, but it also doesn't add much value to your pre-order or feel like a good enough reward to those loyal fans who bought this game shortly after it was announced. If Sonic Lost World was crazy hard, then the 25 extra lives wouldn't scratch the surface, and it would honestly be a waste of time having them in the first place. Reality tells us that this wasn't the case, since Lost World is pretty easy, but that renders the extra lives even more useless since you'll never need them on top of all the other lives you're generating in-game. I don't know, it's hard to judge this, but I do know that lots of people pointed and laughed at Sonic Lost World for doing this, and I don't think they're entirely wrong to do so. At least it wasn't an extra unlockable character or some other shady shit. Maybe we should count our blessings. As someone who isn't swayed too much by pre-order bonuses, I doubt there's anything you could offer me that would make me excited for a game that is bad or underwhelming. It's hard to tell before a game comes out, especially if it's a new IP, if it's actually going to be any good, but I don't think you could put anything down in the pre-order bonuses that would make me go against my gut feeling. It'd have to come with some kind of, a new car and maybe a free back rub. I'm not sure what kind of divine forces would need to be deployed in order to get me invested in Battleborn, but it's safe to say that I wasn't the only one who felt this way. What was intended as a creative hero shooter from the minds behind Borderlands ended up being boxed in by the likes of Overwatch and Paladins and quickly forgotten about as a game that can barely crack double digits for concurrent players and is due to shut down servers early next year. So, not the best outcome all things considered, and you can place a fair chunk of the blame on the game's marketing, which did little to explain the appeal of Battleborn beyond, hey, look at all the characters that the Borderlands people have made, leading to prospective buyers struggling to care much about this new IP. Pre-order numbers were low, because of course they were, but it's not like Gearbox did much to incentivize picking the game up early. I mean, holy shit, there's definitely some novelty value to being one of the few people who own one of these terrible Battleborn figures as a part of gaming history, but at the time, they're just a waste of plastic. Much like the physical copy of Battleborn. I know amiibos get a bad rep for looking a little derpy for the characters that they're trying to depict, but I feel like the bar was raised significantly when Gearbox unveiled to the world Battleborn's pre-order bonuses and all their recently finished by a 6-year-old in art class glory. I know these characters aren't quite as iconic as the Smash Bros roster and likely didn't have as many references to make these figures from, but it seriously looks like they've never even glanced in the general direction of any official art and just drew some funny faces on lumps of plastic. It'd be funny if it wasn't so tragic and played into the other massive problems that Battleborn had at launch, like the numerous technical difficulties of installing the game and matchmaking, and how booting the game up for the first time had you greeted by a reminder that if you're enjoying this video and want to see more, make sure to hit subscribe and hit the bell for notifications of every new video. The final straw is that you couldn't choose which figure you got and ended up with one chosen at random, so there's every chance that you received a terrible figure for a character who you don't even care for. I suppose it goes perfectly with the game people lost care for very quickly. Almost prophetic in a way. Are video games art? Probably not, although they do have some artistic qualities to them that make themselves known through more conventional mediums like visuals and dramatic writing. As a package though, I think video games have too much value as something that you can use and enjoy independent of any artistic enjoyment. You can play and have fun with Okami as a video game, which isn't something you can do with The Scream, so not sure they're art. The debate will rumble on, especially whenever someone makes an unconventional game that doesn't fit into the dozen or so genres we see every day, but sometimes we get reminders how far in the other direction some video games lean. Dead Island Riptide made a ton of headlines before it even came out when it was announced that pre-orders were to be rewarded with something that would empty any room if you brought it out to surprise party guests. This is what happened to the last person who put their feet on my furniture. Riptide's bloody busty bust is some grade A tone-deaf marketing that was clearly aiming for some kind of publicity-spinning shock value to encourage people to take a second look at what is a very average video game. I'm sure there were at least some people who were convinced to give this game a go off the back of potentially ending up with the world's most horrifying mantelpiece ornament, because some people are just a little too into this, but for the rest of us, this is too on the nose for a game franchise that has struggled with tonal confusion in the past. The games industry had problems with fair gender representation in 2012, much like today, and a woman's dismembered, mangled body that has been weirdly sexualized is pretty goddamn offensive whichever way you look at it. Like, there's no way you can spin this that redeems Dead Island Riptide or the marketing team or any part of this game that approved this ornament for pre-orders in the UK and Australia. Strange that this wasn't extended to the US though, because that place is big enough and crazy enough for at least some people to be excited enough to want to decorate their desk with a model of a bikini-clad corpse. They'll put it with the others and expand the collection out a bit. I retain some faith that pre-orders can be handled well in the right hands. Unfortunately, the right hands are becoming harder to come by with every year that passes by, and exploitative pre-order bonuses become the norm. I know I'm focusing on these examples, but it's a little disingenuous to pretend that companies have never got it right at any point in the history of video games. Can't be that hard, surely. All you need is to find some extra value in a completed game without setting aside any content for those lucrative pre-orders, and maybe you're better off offering attractive rewards like being able to play the game early, or getting access to the soundtrack, or really just anything that isn't anything like Deus Ex Mankind Divide's Augment Your Pre-Order. Hey, you might have been thinking that I would only focus on weird objects included as pre-order bonuses and not poisonous tactics deployed by publishers to wring every last coin out of the poor schmucks who buy their games, but too bad! Life just doesn't work like that all the time. It's the few ruining it for the rest of us. Pre-ordering a game can become surprisingly confusing at times because some companies like to have entire schemes behind their pre-orders and offer complex incentives that can be unlocked by doing certain things, and I'm sorry, when did it become very difficult and very complicated to pre-order a game? I am buying a game before it comes out so it turns up on launch day. I'm not choosing which portfolio to put my money in. The sweet irony is that Square Enix were trying to avoid confusion when they launched Mankind Divided's elaborate pre-order campaign because of issues with previous games having disappointing bonuses for pre-orders. I appreciate that at least some effort was taken to fix things for their latest game, but this is like putting out a fire by throwing grenades at it. You're definitely solving one problem, but you're creating about 50 new ones in the process. Augment Your Pre-Order is a little harder to explain than everything I've talked about to this point, which is most of the problem, but it works at least somewhat like a tiered reward system like your average Kickstarter campaign. Effectively, the more people that pre-ordered Mankind Divided, the more rewards will be unlocked for those people, topping out an early release if enough people signed up for this convoluted and ultimately frivolous scheme. The problem is that you can't get everything without putting down $150 for the collector's edition, which means that Square Enix were actively punishing early adopters with a serious case of fear of missing out and nudging them in the direction of the expensive version of the game, which is fucking abhorrent and not the way to treat your most valued and loyal customers. Bear in mind that pre-orders are made before reviews come in and consumers find out if their game is any good or not, and to not reward this level of blind faith is a serious misstep. Fair play to Square though, who read the room from underneath an avalanche of negative feedback and decided to drop the program entirely. Mostly because they weren't getting enough pre-orders to justify it. 4 years later, and this is all I can remember from Mankind Divided. I reckon not the publicity they were looking for. Is it so much to ask for a pre-order bonus that fits the game that it comes from? Preferably also a bonus that isn't directly ripped from the game beforehand so as to artificially generate value for it? But just a pleasant, relevant thank you is all I need from a pre-order for it to be worth my time. I know I made that joke in the intro about games being packaged with whatever the devs could find laying around the office at the time, but there have been numerous pre-orders in the past that have felt exactly like that. As if literally anything has been bundled in as some makeshift reward for putting money down early. The list is long and hilarious, and while I couldn't find room for Resident Evil 5 Snow Globe or the Black American Football that came with Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag for some reason, I feel like I've picked a winner. Do you know what needs to be a part of more pre-order bonuses? How about glow-in-the-dark condoms for infamous Second Son? Is this to prevent the birth of a third son by any chance? I have no idea what they were going for here, unless it's some more shock marketing like Riptide's Bikini Corpse. But even then, the glowy rubbers were only available in Italy, so what gives? Well, that I don't know, but for some reason, Infamous Second Son, which is basically Infamous 3 by the way, it's very confusing, decided to have a marketing campaign in Italy that puts a surprising amount of focus on condoms and Red Bull of all things. Described as a fill of energy for an explosion of pleasure, enjoy your power! Mate, this game sounds amazing, I need to get it. Now, I don't necessarily think this is the most diabolical, exploitative pre-order bonus in the land, but it is just so bizarre that I can't help but recognise it for being just so far off the mark of what a pre-order incentive should be. Infamous Second Son, as a game, isn't particularly concerned with sex or energy drinks, so I can only imagine that the marketing team in Italy did some research and worked out what kind of night their fans would enjoy. Why specifically fluorescent condoms, though? Making it look radioactive doesn't make it work better, just so you know. This is RabbidLuigi, and while Infamous Second Son's pre-order bonus isn't the worst thing in the world and is actually kind of hilarious and entertaining if you approach it from the right angle, I'm concerned what kind of precedent I'd be setting if I didn't criticise a pre-order campaign that is weird and creepy because it's kind of encouraging your fans to have some safe glow-in-the-dark sex while jacked up on energy drink. You know, after a while you start to develop a reputation for doing some weird pre-order bonuses, in which point this pre-order bonus becomes infamous. So, what topic would you like to see me cover next? Leave your suggestion in a comment on this video because I'll be taking the best ideas and making a poll on my community tab, which you can then vote on to decide what the next video is about. I'll be announcing the winner of the poll over on my Twitter, so make sure you follow me so you don't miss out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.